listen to your comments. Hello everyone, I am Vassilis Sotiroudas. I'm an agronomist specialized on food, one of the founders of Centaur. I would like to congratulate the founders for the organizers, for this amazing event. I would like to thank you for giving the floor to myself and to other speakers in this panel to exchange views and to get to meet and get together physically rather than limiting ourselves behind the screens. For many years now, I have been working on cereals either as a quality control auditor or disinfectant expert, and over the past years, through Centaur, I have been designing a system for the writers' storage premises tracing and monitoring. Well, I'm not sure whether those of you physically present here, how familiar you are with agriculture, and this is why I'd like to ask you a few questions just to get a grasp of what's the common ground for discussion here. My first question is this. How does the average farmer, producer or silo manager measure humidity in the product they receive? Anyone? Okay, a humidity meter is the answer, but most of them will tell you that they measure it on the basis of tooth measurement. How do they realize whether the products in their silos have gone bad or not? Well, I'm sure that we do have some people in the audience who can answer, but they're reluctant. Okay, smell. They use a smell. They have a foul smell. There are any insects present? Okay, that's very easy. Okay, they can see them walking around. So we use our senses. What's more difficult but more beautiful is how we can measure the amount of product stored in a silo. Okay, we're in front of the metallic silo. We have 1,000 tons, 10 meters high, and we want the manager to be sure of the amount, of the quantity they have. Okay, they might have an Excel spreadsheet with the numbers, but are those figures valid, or there was a mistake made during the delivery? Again, we use our senses. We listen. We take a rock. If you know, we have the metal foils. The silo is made from metal sheets, metal rings, one on top of the other, and this builds up the silo. So we throw the rock against the silo and we listen, either tick or tack. Tick means that this tank is full, the tack means that it is empty. So the height at which this sound changes means that we can have an exact measurement of the amount contained in the silo. Okay, these things might appear as a joke. I think it was the best icebreaker I could have in order to draw your attention, but I wanted to share that with you to show you that this is a reality, not only in Greece, but in many other developed world countries. This is where we're standing today. So we have come to design a system that can let you move forward. 7 years ago, we launched Centaur, a Greek startup, and I told my father, okay, we are going to build smart technology that can help farmers or traders to be sure of what they have in their silos. And my father, who is an agronomist as well, he spent many years in DG Agri, and among others, he was also training farmers and growers back in the 60s in a schoolroom. This is where those trainings were taking place. And he was talking to them about how they could adopt cotton crops back then. This was not prominent. And the ministry had all their agronomists training farmers. So having trained a group of people in a school about which are the reasons that could justify this farming, he asked, oh, do you have any questions? Would you like to share your thoughts or ideas? No one responded. He asked again, no reaction, and the teacher stood up and said, oh, come on, you need to ask something. Don't you have anything to say? Mr. Emeritus, what do you have to say? And he says, well, that's all. That was the end of that event. Okay, so they left the room, and when I told my father that we were building this smart technology feature in order to apply it there, do you know what he told me? Okay, oh well. So, anyway, I must tell you that something has been implemented in Greece and 30 other countries, and let's see what's exactly the application that I'm talking about. This is my farmer, the farmer I'm talking about, and we do have such people in Greece. They don't throw rocks against the silo, they don't smell, they have a tablet, they have a mobile phone, they have a PC in their hands. Reasonable costs. Those costs are extremely reasonable considering that it saves time and money from your production. So this is a very realistic and down-to-earth approach. So what do you see here? You can see the silo, and you can see the smart sensors that are integrated in the silo so that they can convey information in terms of quantity, when the risk for your product starts, how good you have ventilated, how dry is it, when it has insects, and do you know when it has insects or when the carbon dioxide levels increase? There's no need to enter the silo, the riskable silo, or filter it or anything else. No, it's just the measurement. And this is the point where you see some of the features, some of the ways in which we can monitor all these things. Disinfectants, okay, poisons that are very powerful and dangerous for humans. So killing the people in this room, okay, it will take you 1/10 of the pills that you will use in order to address those pests that might be present in the silo. I'm talking about highly dangerous, approved of course, but highly dangerous products. They need to be used in a safe way. How can we be confident that we use them right? We don't enter the silo, we don't do risky things, we just look in our monitor on the screen of our tablet. I'm talking about fully realistic solutions that have been implemented for the past 7 years. And now, let's take a step backwards. We go to the farm, we go to the land plot. 10 years ago, there was a year in Greece where we had some serious production, some big part of the maize production that had a certain content in aflatoxin. So this generated a panic because some vessels, some ships sailed in order to transfer this product, and they returned. The cooperatives did not know, well, was the problem concentrated or not. And another program that can tell us in the middle of the production, in the middle of this season, which are the low risk, medium risk or high risk land plots. And I'm talking about the production of the crop prior to getting the product inside the silo. And like I said before, we can also monitor the health and the quality of our product in the silo. And at the end of the day, we know that there are benefits for all parties involved, farmers, traders, or the industry that can enjoy a safe product, a traceable product. And I'm not only talking about traceability on the basis of notepads, and if something comes up, you won't be able to mitigate the risk. We have a traceable product that can give us the actual slots that are linked to a specific hazard. This is when we can talk about real traceability. All other solutions mean that, okay, we can go through an inspection or a piece of legislation that has become obsolete for many years now. And in order to conclude, and I think I will be able to stick to my 10 minutes, I would like to share with you a story that was presented by Eurimac, another associate of ours, in an event that was held in Athens 1 week ago. So they shared 2 scenarios. They said that when they first installed the system, they had 2 identical silos, one next to the other, and in the first or second week of the system operation, there was an indication that one of the 2 has increased levels of carbon dioxide, meaning that a problem had occurred, either have fungi or insects and pests. And depending on the curve and of the CO2 levels, you could tell which of the 2 scenarios was actually happening. So this person called me and says, Vassilis, you know your system does not work right, you have this and the other problem. I sampled both sides and there's no problem. They're identical, they smell the same, they look the same, and they have no insects present, so maybe there's a problem there. So I suggested a microbiology culture, and it's true that one of the two samples indicated 5 times higher levels of fungi, and a couple of weeks later the foul smell started, and they managed to address that problem soon enough. And the second story that Thanasis Bletzas shared last week in Athens was that his company stores and uses hundreds of thousands of tons of wheat for the final processing of pasta. I'm talking about Macville, the Macville brand. And they said that, okay, out of those 100,000 tons, if I provide more ventilation, because you know, wheat that is stored needs to be ventilated, especially when the indicators show that this is needed. So if we add the fans function, we might dry it a bit more than we want. This means that we lose in terms of humidity. So he said that if they lose 1% of the humidity level on the base of the current year levels, this means this is translated to €500,000 value. So this is a very simple indicator showing how easy it was for them to decide that they need to have a system in place, a system that does not cost more than 30 to 40,000 euro to buy. That's all from me. Thank you very much.